What's going on, everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and I'm team building here for week number 7 in the Ultimate Battle League. My opponent this week was meant to be HeraHorde, coach of the SL Banefica. However, he had to forfeit to me, so we did claim a 3-0 win this week, and I did hit up the IBL because I really wanted to get a battle in, and Ogalbina, who was a coach over there, hit me up and was like, hey, let's battle. So big shout outs to him. I'll leave all his stuff down below in the description. I had already built the team when, I got the forfeit win, and I really wanted to battle, so huge thanks to him. But let's go ahead and talk about Ogalbina's roster first, which you can see over on the right of your screen. You can see Max Pokemon on the top. Starting things off, we have Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot is, I believe, the fastest Pokemon on that roster. In my eyes, it has to come because it's one of their best ways of controlling speed for my Mega Latios, as well as Pokemon like my Cobalion. They have very few ways to control speed this game, and I think Mega Pidgeot is one of the better options. It could run Defog. I'm thinking like Defog, U-Turn, Hurricane, and then maybe like Heat Wave just to hit something like my Cobalion harder. However, I do think like a hidden power for my Rotom Heat could be very cool too. Maybe HP Water or HP Rock, one of the two, could definitely make a lot of sense right here. But really the thing is with Mega Pidgeot, it's going to have Hurricane and U-Turn, and I need to make sure I have reliable ways to check it. Starmie is the next Pokemon on that team. Starmie is a big threat because you guys remember last week how I struggled with that Rotom Wash. Starmie I kind of have the same issue with, except it's even faster this time. Like, if he brings Ice Beam and then Psychic coverage and then Thunderbolt, I'm going to have a very tough time with that, especially Water coverage too. So like, sub 3 attack Starmie could definitely make a lot of sense right here to take advantage of the analytic. Colberberry Starmie could be cool too, with maybe like HP Fighting to be able to lure my Weavile, because Weavile rips this team apart. So I definitely think they want a reliable check to the Weavile, or a reliable lure right there, and Colberberry Starmie could definitely do the job for them. But I do have a reliable switch in, as you guys will see when I go over my team. It looks like there's nothing up there that could switch in, but there definitely is, as you guys will see. We have Alolan Ninetales as their next Pokemon. Veil is definitely interesting. It could be good for the Zygarde, however, I definitely think that they're going to have a tough time positioning to like get the Zygarde in under Veil, because a lot of the Pokemon that would force Alolan Ninetales out, for example, Weavile with the Metal Claw, Mega Latios is faster than it as well. Zygarde cannot really set up on those Pokemon, so I'm not really sure what route they want to go with the Alolan Ninetales. However, it is good speed control once again, and Fairy Spam is definitely something that is viable against my team. I believe I have like 2 resists, being Rotom Heat, and I believe my Crobat, and if they're in like Hidden Power or Hypnosis, and then obviously Crobat just gets hit by the Blizzard, they can put in a lot of work with the Alolan Ninetales, so that's definitely a possibility right here. Uxie is a potential Stealth Rock setter for them. I actually think it is the weaker of 2. I think Heatran should be the Stealth Rock setter because they have a very glaring Crobat weakness on their team, and Heatran would provide them with a flying resist. So if they're sticking with the Stealth Rocker, I really think Heatran is the bring right here. But other than that, Uxie could be like a Trick Room setter. They have no Rail Trick Room Abuser though, so not really a viable set. Like, if it's gonna come, it's gonna be like Stealth Rock's U-Turn, probably like Psychic / Zen Headbutt, and then maybe like Knockoff, something like that. Perhaps Ice Punch just to be able to hit my Latios, but that's not even going to do too much, so I really think Heatran's the smarter bring right here. Zygarde is annoying, however, I have like a really big response using my Hippo right here. Hippo does not care about, even +2 Z move. This is the Z move user. Like, +2 Adamant Dragonium Z with Outrage could knock out my Hippo, but it only does that like 30% of the time, and I just chew up Choice Band at attacks. Like, Choice Band 1000 Arrows does like 30% min, up to like 37% max, even if it's Adamant to my Hippo, if I have max HP, max defense. So Zygarde is pretty much dealt with using Hippo right there. I just need to make sure I have ways to phase it out, which Hippo can obviously do that too. They have the Rotom, like a regular Rotom right here, Rotom Spook, which is a little bit faster than the other Rotoms. It doesn't really provide them any advantage right here though, unless they are expecting like Zangoose to come and they want to run max speed on that. It could be the Defogger, but I really think Defog, Pidgeot, or Rapid Spin Starmie make a lot more sense right here, so Choice Scarf would be a good idea. However, like, Weavile could in theory switch into that, however, Will-O-Wisp is a possibility, so that just makes it very scary right here. So I kind of have to rely on another Pokemon, as you guys will see when I go over my roster, to switch into the Volt Switch as well as the Shadow Ball that can also sponge a Will-O-Wisp. I'm sure you guys know which Pokemon I'm talking about. Roserade is the next Pokemon right here. Roserade is a little bit annoying right here, however, Mega Latios really deals with it quite well. Rotom Heat does not care if I have enough Spidef investment right here, which is absolutely wonderful. And I have great ways to check it too, being Crobat, which is able to outspeed it no matter what. Weavile can Icicle Crash it, and I don't have to risk like Yachi Berry. After getting a bit of damage off, Knockoff can go ahead and do the job, so that is pretty cool as well. So Roserade, while I don't really switch into it all too well, my best bet being Rotom Heat, which it doesn't even take Sludge Bomb all that well, I have great ways of revenging it, and it's not stopping my win condition this week, which is absolutely amazing. Heatran is something I'm very much looking forward to getting rid of, because it is one of the 2 flying resists, and my flying type this week is actually my win condition, so I definitely want to make sure I can spam that flying move as much as I can and make sure that the Heatran is out of the way. I have great ways of pressuring Weavile. I have a feeling Heatran might be one of their better responses to my Weavile. Sorry, did I say I have great ways of pressuring Weavile? I meant Heatran, but I have great ways of pressuring Heatran, one of them being Weavile with a low kick, which can go ahead and wear it down. I have Mega Latios, which can run mixed coverage with Earthquake, which is absolutely amazing right here too, so as long as I can chip that Heatran down, my win condition will have a good time this week. And then there's Scrafty. Scrafty I'm not worried about at all. If I were to bring Granbull, it would just completely shut that thing down, but even if it gets like 3 Dragon Dances up, my win condition still outspeeds it, so I'm not too worried about Scrafty. Regirock is there. Potential Rocker, it is another flying resist, but this is one I'm not too worried about because with like Heatran I have lots of good ways to pressure it, being like Menifee, low kick Weavile, multiple coverage moves on my Latios could go ahead and do it. Energy Ball could go ahead and hit the Regirock, and the final Pokemon here, Gastrodon, which I guess we'll go ahead and talk about now. So yeah, I could run Energy Ball for Gastrodon as well as hitting Regirock, which is absolutely amazing right here. Gastrodon does have to take into consideration my Manifee's Energy Ball. I do want to check if Gastrodon gets Mirror Coat. That's not something I want to be careless about because Rindo Berry Mirror Coat is definitely something I do have to take into consideration if it does get that move. So I'll go ahead and check that before finalizing the team, but let's go ahead and talk about my 6 Pokemon. Okay, starting off my team this week we have Labyrinth the Crobat, which is earning a Choice Scarf set. It's a very basic win condition. It's Adamant Choice Scarf right here, which outspeeds their entire team except for one thing. If they were to bring Timid Choice Scarf Starmie and put max speed on it, they would actually be able to outspeed my Adamant Crobat right here. I have max speed because I really didn't want the HP investment for anything. I didn't need it at all, so I figured let's just max out that stat. And yeah, if they bring Timid Choice Scarf, that would be able to outspeed me and knock me out with Psychic. However, I really don't think they want to be locked in with something with the Starmie this week. I really think that Analytic with like Substitute or just Analytic for attacks makes a lot more sense right here, so ideally this can go ahead and put in the work that it needed to. Like I did mention, Heatran is one of their better flying resists this week. I think that is the flying resist that is most likely to come. I don't really see Rotom or Regirock coming right here, so if we can wear down the Heatran, which I have great ways of doing with this team, pretty much every Pokemon can go ahead and wear down Heatran. We can go ahead and clean up late game with the Crobat, which would be absolutely wonderful right here. So let's go ahead and talk about my second Pokemon being my Manaphy. Okay, moving right along right here, we have Ultimate the Manaphy, which is another Choice Scarf user this week. This is my check to a Dragon Dance Zygarde. Even after a Dragon Dance, I will be able to outspeed that thing no matter what and be able to knock it out with the Ice Beam, which is absolutely wonderful right here. We do have that necessary speed investment. This can also knock out a Mega Pidgeot after Stealth Rock, so that's something that I noticed. Their team is very offensive, so I think whoever commands speed control this game will have the upper hand, and I'm trying to do that right here, so we definitely want these double Choice Scarfers to help us out right here. I have a little bit of bulk investment on there between the HP and Spidef, just because I want to be able to take a hit from the Starmie no matter what. Energy Ball is not going to be able to OHKO that thing, and if they are able to get a Life Orb Analytic Thunderbolt onto me, I definitely want to live that and be able to force them out, because I did mention that the Timid Choice Scarf Starmie could outspeed my Crobat, so getting rid of that is a priority right here, and I want to make sure it does not put in too much work before it goes down. We have U-Turn on the set too, just in case I'm in a position where I can force something out. Say the Heatran I know is not staying in because they need it for a Crobat, I can U-Turn out and get momentum into one of my better breakers, being like Crobat, Latios, Weavile. One of those 3 would definitely be the prime targets right there, so ideally Choice Scarf Manaphy can go ahead and do this job. It's primarily here to go ahead and check the Zygarde, but the necessary speed control for Pidgeot, Starmie, even Alolan Ninetales is very nice right here. Let's go ahead and talk about my Mega Latios. Okay, rounding out the first half of the team right here, we have Gateway the Mega Latios, which is earning a Roost 3 attack stat with max speed right here just for the Alolan Ninetales. We have a lot of HP plus Spidef right here, which allows me to sponge hits from the Roserade as well as the Heatran. This is my primary switch into both of those 2 Pokemon, and we can also take hits from the Gastrodon, and I do have Energy Ball on this set because I realized that I didn't really have reliable ways of breaking the Gastrodon up to this point. I did have Energy Ball on my Manaphy, however, that's a very obvious click sometimes, so I wanted to go ahead and make sure I have another way to break it right here. Mega Latios can go ahead and do that. I have Earthquake on here because I did mention Heatran is one of the biggest stops to my Choice Scarf Crobat from cleaning with Brave Bird, so I want to make sure I can go ahead and pressure that with as many Pokemon as possible. And then finally Ice Beam as my final attack because it actually hits the Mega Pidgeot while also attacking Pokemon like the Zygarde. I want to make sure the Zygarde cannot set up on this, so I had to run either Ice Beam or Dragon Pulse for that purpose right here, and Ice Beam can go ahead and get the job done, which is great, because it is also able to go ahead and hit the Roserade, which is quite nice right here. So While we are missing coverage for a few things, there were a couple sets to toyed with. I ran HP Steel for the Alolan Ninetales. I had Dragon Pulse on here to help me hit the Starmie, but I figured Energy Ball can just go ahead and do that anyway, so ideally this can go ahead and cover what it needs to, and let's go ahead and talk about my Rotom Heat. Okay, starting off the second half of the team right here, we have Roy the Rotom Heat, which is running a very SPDF set. This is my first of 3 pivots this week. Yes, Greed is in the pivot part of this team, Greed being my Weavile, so you guys will see that when I go over him, but we first have leftovers Rotom Heat right here, which is very SPDF like I did mention. It's able to help me take on Pokemon like the Roserade. Megalatios is going to be very pressured by Pokemon like Heatran and Gastrodon, which can both Toxic it, so I wanted another reliable switch into the Roserade right here. This is also that switch into the Rotom I was talking about. I can't really use Weavile for that because I could take a Will-O-Wisp right here. Rotom does not really care at all. We have Toxic because I want to make sure I can wear down the Gastrodon as well, because if it is Fizdef, that can go ahead and sponge the Brave Birds for my Crobat quite nicely. This is also my Alolan Ninetales switch in now. In the scenario where they get the Veil up and then they are able to land a Hypnosis, I have to double out after that because I cannot allow Zygarde to come in and just start setting up Dragon Dances while I'm hit with a sleeping Rotom Heat. That would not be a smart time, so I'm going to double out in that scenario, but other than that, this is still my primary Alolan Ninetales switch, and ideally, I can go ahead and defog that Veil away reliably, and we will be good to go right here. Now, this is pressured by Pokemon like the Starmie, however, it is able to also go ahead and check Mega Pidgeot. It's really just Starmie that can go ahead and beat this, besides Zygarde, obviously, so let's go ahead and talk about my primary Starmie check being my Weavile. Alright, this Weavile set right here is actually one of the big reasons why I wanted to play a game this week, because this is my Starmie check right here. I realized that Weavile did have a great matchup, however, I didn't really have a Starmie switch in up to this point, so I figured, let me go ahead and bring a fast offensive Weavile, but I slapped an Assault Vest on it too, and we can go ahead and switch into any 2 analytic attacks from Starmie. If it is Choice Scarf, which would be the only threatening set that could potentially 2-hit KO me, I can take a Choice Scarf Hydro Pump into an Analytic Hydro Pump just fine right here. An Analytic Hydro Pump into a Choice Scarf Hydro Pump, I guess would be the order. And yeah, we can go ahead and switch into Starmie no matter what. Now, I don't have Pursuit, so I potentially cannot switch in multiple times. Scald Burns could be a potential bad scenario too, however, ideally we can go ahead and dodge all that. We have Lokic on here too, because like I did mention, I want to pressure Heatran with as many Pokemon as possible. Weavile is no exception right here, so if we can get a Lokic into the Heatran, first of all, with the SPDF, I don't even die to 1-hit from Heatran if it's not a boosting item, so that's kind of funny in itself, but if I can't take the hit from the Heatran and Lokic that thing, that would really be great for my Labyrinth, the Crobat right here, so that would be cool, but it's really here as the Starmie check. I wanted to make sure I have a sturdy switch in. This can take 2 of anything right here. We have Icicle Crash just to go ahead and hit the Mega Pidgeot, as well as a lot of speed investment for that, which is great. The one thing I don't have is Metal Claw for the Alolan Ninetales, but I figured I'd have a dedicated response with the Rotom Heat anyway. I don't really need it right here. Knocking off the Light Clay would be fine anyway, so that's pretty cool, and let's go ahead and talk about how I rounded out my team with Hippowdon. Okay, and my final Pokemon right here is Slot the Hippowdon, which is running a mono attacking set with Earthquake, and then we have Stealth Rock, Slack Off, and Roar as our other 3 utility moves right here. This is my primary Zygarde check. Well, not check, but it's going to be the thing that prevents Zygarde from sweeping me, because, like I did mention, if it's Choice Band, I don't care. This is going to sponge hits from that all day. However, if it Dragon Dances, I can go ahead and phase it out. I can take a +1 Adamant Z Outrage from the Zygarde without caring at all, so that's great right here. And if he was to Dragon Dance as I switch in, I would roar immediately because I can't afford him Dragon Dancing again, and then potentially getting a roll on that attack, the Adamant Outrage with the Z move, and knocking me out, because I would lose the game from that position right there. So if he Dragon Dances as I come in, I will go ahead and just phase him out. However, if he does anything else, I will go ahead and throw up those Stealth Rocks, because pressuring everything, putting everything into range of Crobat is the plan, and Stealth Rocks is definitely one of my best ways of doing that right here. But yeah, primarily this is meant to make sure I don't get swept by the Zygarde, if at all possible, which is great right here. Even if it's Substitute with like Coil, I can go ahead and phase it out, because the Roar is a sound move, and it will go through that Substitute, which is absolutely amazing right here. And yeah, that's going to be the team. I hope we can go ahead and win, because I really think I put a lot of effort into this one. Match will be going live tomorrow at 10 AM Eastern. Unfortunately, no stakes with this one, because I'm going to get the 3-0 win no matter what, but ideally we can still deliver a good battle, and I'll see you guys then. Later.